Hey everyone, Dan here. We're near market close on Friday, June 18th. Today we're going to take a look at Apex Technology Acquisition Corp, APXT. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And feel free to comment below as well. This stock was suggested to me by a YouTube commenter, and so that's how I got this one. So feel free to drop those in the comments or your own thoughts or ideas on any of the stocks that I do cover. There's always some good info in there that I may or may not be aware of or may not have mentioned in the video, so it definitely helps everyone. And also feel free to share these videos, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, what have you. That helps a ton as well. All right, so APXT, this is a pretty low floats, low volume stock from what I can tell. I'm not that familiar with it. Like I said, it was suggested, so I thought I'd take a look. But volume not even 500,000 today. The average volume not even 1 million in the last 3 months, and relatively low float, which will come into play in a few minutes after we look at the chart. So 35.15 million on the float. So we'll keep that in mind. But here's the last 6 months. Basically what it looks like happened to me. I'm sure there's probably more to this story for folks that know much more about APXT, but just from the charting perspective, like these three, like this triple topping out obviously yielded very bad results. As we know, repetitive topping out or repetitive bottoming out can be a signal of a trend reversal. So you really have to watch and see what's happening when that happens. I mean, the interesting thing here was you had a double top and then you came down and you basically then had like a double bottom though. So it did swing back up, and then when it came back down, I could have seen maybe some folks piling in here because they thought, okay, now it's triple topped, but it's also triple bottom, so we're going to make a run back up and try to press this selling pressure around the $17, $18 mark again. But obviously that very quickly went by the wayside. And so, hopefully folks didn't get caught up in that too long. Hopefully they saw the signals of the sell-off then coming at least by like this point here. But who knows? But that's something that I would just be aware of in any stock. So just be cautious of those areas. But we can grab some good potential future price zones from all of this previous price activity, areas where the price moved from support to resistance previously, and those might be areas that it sees continuing high levels of buy and sell pressure as it moves through this next phase of its life cycle. This new trying to recover right now is basically what it's doing. So let's plot out some zones here that it might use as support and then might hit as resistance, and use those as some sort of like guide rails, goalposts, however you want to think of it, to try to sort of plot a course up or look for potential bounce zones or support zones down in case it does continue to sell off. So these are the areas, if I want to take this spread from basically, I can do one more on the downside here, cover basically $10 to $15 range. It's 11.42 right now, and it's basically trying to make a run, trying to establish this up channel, which is holding to be a really good channel. It tested the bottom 4 times, it's tested the top 3 times. That's really, really good for establishing a channel. It's been in this for about 2.5 weeks since it started testing these bounds. So this could be something. This is on the 4-hour chart, so this could be something that holds up for a while, and it did recently test the bottom just earlier today, with this wick, so that could have been a good dip buying opportunity. Just to keep in mind, the way that I like to play channels, dip buy the bottom of the channel. If it holds, take profit at the top of the channel, rinse and repeat. So buy it here at about 10.33, sell it here at about 11.23, buy it back at about 10.58, sell it here at about 11.50. Buy it back here at 10.80, sell it again at 11.74. So you see all of those consistent sort of profits. Just keep in mind, all channels eventually break. So at some point, this you will be looking for it to hold and it will fall out the bottom, or something will happen. It'll have some huge catalyst and it'll blow through the top and have some like parabolic move, and then it'll just be in like a different area of the chart. It'll be in a different stratosphere, and so you'll have to just kind of readjust at that point and just kind of like delete the channel because it's no longer valid. But that's what I would play in the immediate future. And then aside from that, I would look for it to hold. If it does fall out, I'd look for potential price strength around 11 if you wanted to look to dip by there, or 10.56. If it can't hold something like 10.27, you might be in for a bit of a painful fall here, because if you look this range here, I mean, it's been a long time since it was back down there. And so that's not very promising in terms of like bounce back potential. Like, it had all this time since its inception where it just kind of muddled around this price point. And so the fact that it may fall back down to there again wouldn't be that promising to me if it can't hold something like the mid tens. I wouldn't have much faith in it at that point. But first things first, you got to see if it can hold that channel or not. On the indicator side of things, I would look for some buying pressure to come in here. It is just below midpoint, so it could make another quick test of the bottom bound of this channel. It definitely doesn't have to, but it could, just based on the RSI basically being in the middle. But then definitely leaves it a bunch of opportunity to upswing, as is also the case on the MACD. So MACD moving up, it's above the baseline at the moment, but slightly bearish crossover that's continuing to build bearish momentum at the moment. And so if, it definitely leaves that opportunity to come down toward the baseline, which would also put it down toward the bottom bound of the channel, and then, bullish crossover and hopefully make its way toward the top, the upper bound of the channel. The only other thing that I wanted to call attention to, that's basically the chart side of things. For whatever reason, just yesterday, late Thursday, we get this data. And so during the day on Thursday, there were a bunch of short sellers that came in. 31 short volume ratio is very, very high. In the 20s is pretty noticeable. Mid to high 20s is like, whoa, that's quite a bit of short volume. In the 30s is pretty bananas. So for whatever reason, a bunch of shorts decided to just jump in. I guess, this move up yesterday, these additional green candles, I don't know why it wasn't like a couple of days before when there was this big move. I guess it sold off anyway, but they could have taken advantage of just that kind of more organic sell-off. But for whatever reason, this recovery here drew a bunch of attention of shorts. So I would just be cautious of that. I'd just be aware that there is some short seller manipulation that's happening with this one at the moment. And, like I said, just keep it in mind. Just know that it's there, and kind of play that accordingly as things progress. All right, well, good luck if you're in APXT. I hope you had a good trading week and that you enjoy your weekend, and I will see you in the next video.